Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. It's your boy, Mr. Chap Daddy, aka Chap, aka the blackest dude you know. And if you see me this late, it's time to put the kids to bed. Welcome to the official fourth episode of Chat with Chap. It's a good one this evening. Oh, it's a good one this evening, ladies and gentlemen. And I can't deny this guest that's gonna show up today, man. The most opinionated man in the world. But before we get there, I want to apologize for not seeing me last week. I was gravely ill. Like I thought I was gonna die. But that's neither here nor there. We're gonna keep it moving, keep it rolling. But let's introduce you to the guest to be. I can't say nothing about this guest, but this man is piping hot. He's super strong. He's one of the illest artists I know. Illest writer. Got his own podcast on multiple podcasts and multiple shows. You see him on Top 5 Live and see him on this every show every Thursday of Visually Stoked podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Javon Stokes.
What's up, man?
What is
All right,
good?
man. I see you. I see you with the intro. All right, all right.
I had to hook you up,
Okay,
brother. I had to hook
okay,
you up, man.
okay.
Had to hook you up.
Taught
Welcome,
you
most
something. Taught
opinionated
you
man.
something.
Hey, listen, man. I take all my little nuggets and I make a sandwich. That's all I can ask
What's
for.
good,
Okay.
man? What's good?
Nothing much, man. It's good to have you on. Thank you for being
Hey,
on
man.
my
I
show this
appreciate it,
time.
man. I appreciate it. This. I always like being the guest. I don't like being in charge.
Listen,
I gotta ask questions.
yeah, that's right, man. I'm telling you, you go ahead and put your hand in front of my camera if you want to.
Yeah,
I got the
just
control.
relax.
I got the controls now, brother. I put you out, but nah.
Hey, I'm gonna make a logo for that. Put the hand in front of the camera, man. Everybody love that, man. So I'm gonna have to make a logo for that.
Oh
Trademark.
man, that was a great episode. Hopefully, we have a piping episode like that
Nah, we don't
now.
want an episode
So.
like that. We don't want an episode
Oh
like
man,
that.
I at least need the views. I at least need the views, man. But all in all, how you doing, man? How's life? How's your health? How's everything going
Hey
for you?
man, I'm good, man. I just finished up this heat wave tour,
Mm-hmm.
2024. For those that have been following me, I did about 30 plus dates. Uh, I can't even I at least 20 different cons um, for 2023. And
Mm-hmm.
it honestly, it was one of the hardest things that I ever did, but it was incredibly rewarding. I'm glad I did it. I'm actually seeing the fruits of it like
Mm-hmm.
now, which is crazy. Like going into 2024, setting up for 2024, I'm seeing the fruits of it. So I'm glad I did it. But man, let me tell you, it was hard on my back. It was hard on my knees. I have never felt closer to 40 in my life.
Cause you're a stander, right? You don't really sit behind the table, you stand.
Man, by the end of the con, I was sitting. I was like, I'm sitting down. I stand up when what I did is I started like, so I sit, and then when people
Mm-hmm.
come to me, then I stand up and then
Okay.
talk with them. And then when they leave, I might stand up for a little bit to see if somebody come. But then if there's like a lull, then I'll sit down. Like,
Gotcha.
over time you learn. I bought a little. No, I didn't. My wife actually did. My wife bought one of those foam floors. Like you put them on the ground, they like shock
Right.
absorber type things, which help my knees like tremendously. My knees and my feet.
Like the drinks the barbers be using.
No, these are like almost like styrofoam.
Got
Yeah,
you.
like
Got
they're really good. They're really good for your feet. But yeah, I
you.
mean we're good, man. Getting geared up for 2024. It's gonna be a big one,
Bigger and better.
man. I'm already,
Cause I mean 30.
I'm already part of a project that I can't talk about. Um,
Okay.
I got 3 to 5 books on the schedule to come out. Uh,
Three to
3 to 5,
five.
and some other projects that I'm working on that I'm trying not to talk about too much until I get closer to them. But 2024. I've been telling people like this journey has been in um, levels.
Right.
Like I was at one level, and then this year I did the tour was my step into the next level. And once
Okay.
I did that, like I said, I'm seeing the fruits of it. So now I got to level up. Like you can't just do the same thing I did this year. I got to do
Right.
one. I got to go one step further. and it's starting. It's coming together, man. I'm already looking at it like, oh,
I see, man. I gotta commend you, man. Like, cause you got people that's even ahead in the game that can't even like accomplish that many dates, man. You got people that just know they certain cities, they go to certain cities or big cities where they do well, and they call it that. But before I let you
go
continue,
ahead,
man,
man.
like always, ladies and gentlemen, this is Chat with Chap, and at the beginning of each episode, we start with what I call a versus. Right, we're gonna have the guests, we're gonna look at the verses, who versus who,
Okay,
and the
let's do
guest
it.
cannot answer at the moment. I'm gonna make sure his mind get a little blended. We're gonna ask him some questions along the line, and somewhere near the middle of the show, he's gonna give us a very detailed answer of who he think will win in tonight's verses, which was supposed to be last week, Syra Kyron. So going on to this week, tonight's verses is, ladies and gentlemen, the Hand versus the League of Assassins. The Hand versus the League of Assassins. Don't answer right now. If you want to
Okay,
spam the comments, spam the comments. But for Javon, I'm gonna ask him the question later. So,
that's a
Vaughn,
good one.
15 years, dog. What's we have these conversations a lot. It's crazy how much we've interacted on different shows and different topics, and just had on your show and more. What is it like now, looking back in the 15 years that you kind of done this? Is there anything you think you would change now, knowing where you at, kind of with Heat and Strong?
Oh man, it's funny. I've been thinking about this a lot since the year has been winding down. And
Mm-hmm.
the only thing I would change is I would just do this. I would have done it earlier. Like
Okay.
when I first came in, and I've told this story before. When I first started doing comics, was what 2003,
Mm-hmm.
2004. I did a comic book, a self-published comic, and it was terrible. It was awful, and but like I didn't have the community that I have now. I was learning everything on my own, like
Mm,
printing books and how to print books, how to you know pace a story. Like I knew how to write, I knew how to draw, but like the skill level wasn't where it needed to be. Everything
mm,
about the game I didn't know. I was learning it on the fly. And
right.
then I kind of like didn't really go for it like I should have done. So really that's
Mhm,
the only thing I would have really went for it and studied the game um to the degree that I do now. Like, like you just made the point about how you take stuff from everybody. I've been
mhm,
taking things from everybody, and I've not been subtle about it. Like,
right.
Mike Watson, that's my dude. I take stuff from him. When I see Mike do something,
Mhm,
I'm like, okay, I could do that, but I could do it a little differently. Danny and
mhm,
Morgan, when I see them do something, okay, I can do that. Let me try that. Victor Dandridge, everybody. I mean, even people who I don't get along with, like I'll
mhm,
see something that they doing, and I'm like, okay, that's a good idea. Let me write that down. And
right.
I didn't do that before. And a part of that is the indie market was nowhere near what it was now back in like
Mhm,
2024. Back in 2004, 2003, it was nowhere near what it is now. I mean, it was Image and all that, but the 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 diversity it just wasn't there, and the community
right.
wasn't there. Like the amount of like African Americans doing comic books was nowhere near what it is now.
That's true.
So, I'm blessed that I'm able to interact and meet you and all these other people. But
Mhm.
definitely, I would have really really went for it in a way, and paid attention to the market.
Got you. Do you feel, is there something from today? I guess we all say technology, but is there something from the day that you wish you had back then that kind of made the journey easier for you, or do you feel like you needed to take the lumps that you took to become who you became? I mean, 15 years is a long time in the game.
Yeah,
So it's like, do you outside of technology, do you feel there's something that you could have took from today that you wish you had back then?
not including technology, money. I was broke back then, man. I was broke, dude.
Hey man, who
I
wasn't
was
in that
broke
bucket
back
in
then.
the
That
beginning,
that
man?
was that was back in my like working 3, 4 jobs days, man. I ain't have no money.
Got
If I
you,
had money back then, I
got
could have
you,
done a lot. I ain't have money. That's it. That's it.
got you. Um, so like, what is it that kept you going for so long, man? Because 15 years sounds, I know for some people, for whatever reason, people think when you get double digits in the game, they think either you barely scratch the surface or you just, amass this high popularity or just high notoriety. Like, what kept you going? What kept the drive alive to even like continue for 15 years strong?
So I'm not even gonna lie. Like I when I first did it, I
Mm-hmm.
did 2 full issues of a book.
Okay.
2 full issues.
Mm-hmm.
The second issue never printed. Um, but the first issue, but like it's sitting on my computer. I have it right now.
Oh
And
wow.
if you've ever looked at one of my old websites, you've seen pages from it. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but I took breaks. The first book I did, like I was very disillusioned when it didn't when what I didn't what I wanted to happen didn't happen. I was like, maybe I'm not ready. And so then I
Mm-hmm.
went back to school and I went back to SCAD and finished getting my degree. And then when I came back, like at SCAD is actually when I developed Heat. That's when the idea for Heat came. It was a college project that
Mm-hmm.
I kind of liked the name and I liked the powers, but I hated everything else. So I just kind of
Mm-hmm.
rejiggered it around and I was like, man, this could be a comic book. But I was focused on finishing school. And then when I got out of school, I was focused on getting a job and then and Heat just kind of bounced around the periphery of my life. Like
Mm-hmm.
it was just always there saying it's time, you got to do actually Heat and Strong both were developed
Mm-hmm.
around that time. And then one day, maybe back in 2000 and 2012, I think it was
Mm-hmm.
2012, around 2012, I was like, this has got to get done. And so that's when I
Right.
really kind of dove in and really did all the things that I wanted to do, like learn the game. Like, how do I print a book? How do I do this? How do I do that? And that's when I started. It picked up steam, and then I did my first Kickstarter that failed
Mm-hmm.
spectacularly, spectacularly. I had like an $8,000. I had like an $8,000 limit, and I hit like 2,300, which isn't bad, for your
That's
that's
not
not bad,
bad.
but it wasn't 8,000.
Hey, that's not bad,
But I
man.
learned
My
from it.
first Kickstarter, I get that. I get that. My first drink, I thought I was doing something. It was 1,500. I barely made $400. I was just crushed. But
But it helped me
I
though,
get
because I knew what I could
right.
make now. So I was like, okay, so I could do 2,300. So then the next
Mm-hmm.
Kickstarter I did it for like 2,000, and then so that was
Mm-hmm.
the first Heat book, and that did it well, and it was almost like off to the races. Like
Right.
I did one, then two, then three, and then did a graphic novel, did a 70-page graphic novel for Heat, and
Mm-hmm.
then I started to do the first issue of Heat, stopped, and then did Strong, and then stopped Strong, and then went back to Heat.
Mm-hmm.
It just everything kind of like snowballed, and it's been like kind of a rocket since then. Like I'm barely keeping up with all the things that are happening for me.
I mean, much respect to you, man. Especially to keep going and keep that drive. I mean, for anybody that don't know, it's being an artist, writer, creator in any genre is tough. Like I say this all the time. Like, don't talk to me unless you have tried to sell one thing. Like it is like just to sell one thing that is your blood, sweat, and tears, your baby, is tough enough. But we're gonna stop your story right there. Got breaking news, okay? Like I said, breaking news.
Okay.
Not too breaking, but obviously over the last week, this is the most popular news. Ladies and
Oh
gentlemen,
snap!
we are getting a Blade video game. And for all you who don't know, the teaser came out last week during the Video Game Awards. Javon, what was your thought process on it? Did you see it? How you feel about it? Where are you at in just in gaming in general?
My gaming is non-existent. Listen, let me tell you,
Okay.
man, I'm gonna be honest with you, man. My wife
Okay.
bought me a PS5 around the
Oh.
time. No, I'm sorry, PS3, PS3 or
Mm.
PS4, one of the two. I don't even know. That's how long it's been. She bought it for me for either. I think it was Christmas, and
Mm-hmm.
I used to play it a lot. And then my son was born, and I'll never forget. And this, I tell people this all the time. I had him like this, and I was like trying to play, and I was like, I feel stupid. I'm just gonna put this down. And that was the last time I picked up a controller. That was the last time I picked up. My son is 5 now. Right? So,
So man, for me at least, thank you for that. Because for me, I like, you know
but
what,
I
right?
am excited that there's gonna be a Blade
Mhm.
video game, man. I mean, it's long overdue.
Oh yeah, because
Blade
what was
doesn't
it,
get the
Blade?
credit that he deserves as a character to this day.
Absolutely,
That man created the MCU. He need to get
right.
his damn
Facts.
flowers. So that might be a time for me to pick up a controller, but it ain't gonna be my
Hmm.
controller. It might be somebody else's controller because I'm not buying the video game. Carrie. I tried, man. I was like, this ain't working, man. This ain't working. It's not working.
Man, I don't blame you, man. For me, man, I saw that trailer and I was like, listen, y'all, I'm gonna play devil's advocate for like 30 seconds, right? I saw it and it was like dope. It had a dope feeling. I went straight to like aggressive black dude mode when that man said, "Man, don't worry, I don't bite." I said, "Ugh," like said, I said, "Ugh, Blade, don't say that, man." Like, I got aggressively upset. I ain't gonna sit up here and lie to
What's
nobody.
wrong
That
with I
that
don't
line
bite,
was
man? That's a nice
that line
catchphrase.
was that line was so corny. And I think it was just the way, like, you could tell like somebody like just black was in the meeting. It's like, yeah, this is gonna be a dope one.
Did,
No, it wasn't, brother.
did is like Wesley Snipes doing the voice or
Nah,
no?
I don't know who it is,
Oh
but it
man,
just like it was just the whole.
that's a missed
Come on,
opportunity.
yeah, missed for real. It was just the whole. Come on, I don't bite. Ugh, okay. Um, moving along. You said you had an irrational drive to make comics because you love them. You love them that much that it drove you to want to do it, which leads me to ask. I'm gonna ask this question: what was the first book that you loved that you just talked about earlier? Like, what was that book like? What was that character
So
like?
that was a book that's actually changed into maybe like 3 or 4 iterations. Um,
Mm,
I'm not using it. I'm not telling. I don't say. I never say the name of the book out loud because I don't want nobody to take it. Um,
okay.
but it was a
Good
horror
G.
book. Like it was. I was in my. I was a big fan of like supernatural stuff back that time.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like horror and all this other good stuff. And like I think it was. I felt like now that I've looked back on it, I was ahead of my time. Like
Mm-hmm.
when I say I was ahead of the time, I was ahead of the curve because back then it was like it was superhero, superhero, superhero. But that book would have been great now
Got
because
you.
it has like a lot of fantasy aspects, and I'm actually that book is kind of um, evolved into this book that I'm working on now that I'm hoping to put out early next year. It's actually
Okay.
made kind of multiple iterations. It's kind of got here, but yeah, that
Okay.
I've always been driven to do this. I could be making. I could have focused on a lot of other art. Um, I've done everything. I've done graphic design work, professional graphic design work. My
Mm-hmm.
degree is in 3D animation. I've done illustration for children's books, but damn it, if I don't keep coming back to comic books, I don't know. And it makes me bad sometimes because I'm like, I could probably be making a lot more money somewhere else. But here I am.
You just love them. I mean, do you feel like, because I know you said you never said the name of the book. Do you feel like you ever like come across like ideas in the same genre where it's like you feel like, damn, somebody like
Oh
kind of
yeah.
got to it
Oh
before you?
yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay,
Oh yeah.
okay.
It makes
How,
me
like, how do you go about that? Do you just feel like I'm gonna do something better? Do you just kind of like I'll rework it? Like how do you go about that?
you know, there is no new ideas under the sun. So
Mm-hmm.
it really doesn't matter, if somebody else has your idea.
Right.
I know when I put out Strong last year, and
Mm-hmm.
within this last almost 2 years, um, I've seen uh, one book with the name very close to it. Uh, the strong was it the stronger by I forget who it is says the stronger. I saw that and I was like, the sorry man, do you? I ain't mad. All right, do you? I'm not even mad. Like that's a great name, the stronger. And then I
Right.
know another book had the same concept. Like if you don't know, if you haven't read it, uh,
Mm-hmm.
Strong is the story of a young lady who is in a wheelchair, and she has the ability to uh, transform herself into a 6'3", super powerful, strongest superhero on the planet. Uh,
Mm.
and I saw another character who has the same thing that's come out in the last like year. Yeah,
Really?
and I was just like, that's all right. That's okay. There's room for all of us, man. I'm not telling the same story he telling, and that's all right.
That's
So I don't
that's
really get
true.
mad about that stuff anymore. Now
Okay.
if you
That's I
now if
mean
you use the
that's what's
name Heat and Strong, we talking. Right?
as long they ain't using them
As
names, you
long as you
good,
ain't using
huh?
my names, I'm okay.
I don't blame you there, man. But speaking, we got a new name to pop up because we got that promo. Okay, y'all. This is the part of the show where what I'm saying we got to pay these bills.
Pay the
Okay,
bill.
and tonight's promo, ladies and gentlemen, let me read it off for you. New cereal on the scene. Move over Frosted Flakes and say hello to Cocoa Butter Crunch. Cocoa Butter Crunch, the new chocolate goodness on the scene. Cocoa Butter Crunch. You can find it at www.afroventure.com and anywhere in Afroventure books. That's Cocoa Butter Crunch. Get your Cocoa Butter Crunch at any store in the Afroventure universe. That's right. Cocoa Butter Crunch. Diabetes free. So back to it, man.
Anyway, it just reminded me of like when I was younger, and like if I had ashy face, my mom was like, "Come here, just take a whole like handful of like cocoa butter and just like slap me in the face with it, like all over. My face be shiny as heck.
Hey man, listen, Cocoa
Sun be
Butter
reflecting
Crunch.
on my face and causing traffic jams."
Let's see, just like that DC character who's in a white dude in a wheelchair and
Uh,
screams, "Oh yeah, I know what he's talking about."
that's
Uh,
was it Christopher Priest? That
yeah,
yeah, he
Christmas
was he was
yeah,
joking, man. That's pure joke, man.
man, that was hilarious, man. What we got? If given an opportunity, what superpower would you pick to have for yourself? That's a good question.
I got to be honest with you. I've had that conversation. I've thought about it,
Mm-hmm.
but being the Flash would solve so much, so many issues in my life.
The Flash.
The super speed, man. Think about it. I could literally do like 50, I could do like 30 graphic novels in a day. You feel me?
That's true.
I could do
That's
like
true.
100 variant covers in a day.
But I mean, you gonna burn through one of them screens after you do like the first three
Yeah,
pages
right.
at super speed.
But or even if I don't do that, like I don't need a car. I could drive. You know what I'm saying? I could run to Paris. I could pick my wife up and run to Paris. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
I'm a piggyback, and I'm a
that's a
do
hard
something.
one to say no to. I mean, flight is another one.
Flight is good. I'm a piggyback off of that because technically this is not a comic book or a superhero, but I just love the concept of this movie. What's that joint? Jumper or the
Oh,
dude can teleport? Like dog. Come on now. I could teleport inside of a bank and be great. K-Roll Comics would be a corporate funding. Yeah,
But
funding.
as much as that's a great power, like his is like line of sight though.
That's
It's like
true.
you had to remember or had to have been there before or
Or
something,
or have a picture.
or have a picture.
Or have a picture. Have a picture of it, man. But nah, super speed is a good power.
Yeah,
I don't even
that's
think can we gotta can any of your characters beat Goku? He the writer, of course they can.
strong work, Goku. I say that.
Strong work, Goku.
Strong
Listen,
work,
I tell
Goku,
people all the time,
all the time.
Goku don't want nothing with unique.
Man, I'm
You
so
know?
tired of Goku. I ain't gonna lie to you, because you know me, I ain't an anime person, man. So every time I hear about Goku, I just be like, whatever, man. Keep moving. I don't want to
I'm telling you, every time Goku get beat, he get a new power. Um, so Heat. How many? What we
hear.
doing with Heat, man? What's going on with Heat, man? Like
All
what's
right, yeah, man. So Heat, I'm working on Heat number 3 right now. Um
mm,
uh I'm working on Heat number 3 right now. If you've read the first 2 issues of Heat, you would know that uh the all the events of the first 2 issues, the first 2 issues of the new series of Heat, all the
mm-hmm,
events of Heat surround a young black man that's killed in Heat City, Trinity City,
mm-hmm.
black police officers.
Okay.
And so, he has now made it his mission to protect like people's right for free speech. So anytime there's a parade and police try to get out of pocket, he just shows up, takes care of the police, protects everybody. He literally will
Mm-hmm.
put up a wall to prevent police from from interfering. He this is how he feels that he can enact change without doing too much, because as readers of the book know, his dad is a lawyer, and
Mm-hmm.
his dad has a very heavy influence on him. And his dad kind of is like, look, man, you could blow up the government if you want, but they ain't gonna see nothing but an angry black man. Like, that
Right.
doesn't help you. And then on top of that, the government has the same government that he is basically rebelling against has decided they are tired of his crap, and they have unleashed their own black ops group of superheroes called Defense Omega.
No.
And if you've read Heat number 2, you see the beginnings of that conflict. You see the first interactions between Defense Omega and Heat. So I'm in the middle of drawing Heat number 3 right now, and Heat number 3 is mostly Heat versus Defense Omega. It's Heat versus what, 5 or 6 super powered individuals.
Oh, okay.
I'm having a ball. Is This is, when I did this storyline, I wanted to do something impactful, but I also wanted to do something fun. Like, I
Right.
wanted to draw people beating each other up, but I didn't want it to be boring.
Right.
So Heat number 3 continues that. It's the third part of a 5 issue storyline. And it's, we going strong, man. It should be out very soon. I'm looking at 10 pages done right now, drawn right now. I got to draw the next 10 over the next few weeks, and hopefully it'll be out by the beginning of the year.
Okay. When you say Heat and going against the government, and stopping like the police, essential police brutality, are you one of those that feel like social issues shouldn't be in comics or should be in comics? Do you feel like you don't like that you have to tell that story, or it's a story that you want to tell?
Listen, I consider myself to be a historian of comics. I have been reading them for as long as I can remember. I don't and I didn't just read comics from when I started reading comics. I went back. Like,
Right.
I always go back and read like old stuff. Social justice issues have always been a part of comics. If you don't believe that, you either haven't been reading good ones or you didn't get the message. Like,
Hey,
you can't be a reader of X-Men and then complain about social justice issues. You can't be a reader of Captain America and complain about social justice issues. Um, there's so many, Oh, did I lose you? I lost him. So it's my show now. All right, are we still on live? Okay. So yeah, I'm gonna keep talking until Kevin gets it up. So yeah, like social justice issues have been pushing comics and been pushing them forward, for decades. So you know, my book was absolutely gonna be gonna involve that. I am literally talking to myself. Kevin, you there? Hold on, let me check.
All
Oh,
right, I'm
there
back. There we go. Got kicked out of my own show
Oh
again.
damn, dude. Again? What's up?
Again.
You need to talk to Restream, man. Why we got three of you now?
I have no idea because the other screen, my
There you
other screen, there we go. Tapped
go.
out. All right, I'm back. Go ahead.
All
Continue
right.
what you were saying.
No, I was just saying, my character, he originally started as very like an homage to Static. Um,
Okay.
and as I've been doing it, this is my two, three, four, this will be my seventh issue of Heat. Um, every time I do a story, it always is influenced by either my life or the world around me.
Right.
Um, so the first issues of Heat I did were kind of tributes to my sister who passed,
Mm-hmm.
and they were kind of like a story about you can have all the power in the world, but you can't save everybody. And then the graphic novel that I did was me kind of processing the death of my mother, uh,
Mm-hmm.
and after her, fight with cancer. And so, it was him versus, him and his dad who has cancer. And, he's realizing that, again, you can't save everybody. And then, I did the new Heat number one. Actually, the storyline for Heat number one was different before. Like it
Really?
was,
How so?
yeah, it was originally like, about like a little bit about racism in the sense that it was like the government was against metahumans and they were trying to take out metahumans, and there was a young metahuman and he had to protect that metahuman, and
Mm-hmm.
it still involved Defense Omega, but it was actually I was going to introduce Strong in the same book. Like
Okay.
that's where I was going to introduce Strong, then I was going to spin her out in her own book. But I forgot who I was talking to, but I remember I was having a conversation with somebody and I was kind of telling them the story. And we both kind of came to the conclusion that why do I have to spin her out, and why do I have to use Heat to prop her up? Why can't I give Strong her own platform? And so, a couple things happened. COVID happened, and then all of the social issues were going on during the quarantine. Pair that with me pulling Strong out of the storyline, it
Mm.
all just kind of melded together, and that's how I ended up with the current storyline.
Will, which is a great point. I think that's why I don't introduce Unique. I want Unique, my character Unique, to kind of have her own story. Will we ever see Heat and Strong cross paths?
Oh man, I already got that. I already wrote that. That's written, dude. It won't be probably until 2025 though.
Really?
Yeah,
'Cause-
the only reason why is I want to give Strong her spotlight first, and
right.
I'm doing a series for her, and I want to get at least like the first two issues of her series out, so that her audience can enjoy her for a little bit
Mm.
before we cross over, the two characters. Um, but I honestly, I love the idea I have, man. I can't wait. I can't wait, dude. I would love. I wish I could put it out now, but it'll be a two-issue miniseries, probably like 48 pages each.
Wow.
Yeah, it's gonna be. Well, I in my head I was like, if I'm gonna do a crossover, it's got to be like a reason, and B, it's got to be like big. It's got to be big time, and it's got to have repercussions that matter. And so, I got the storyline. I think the first few pages written. Um,
Hmm.
I got the villain for it. I'm ready to go. I got to get Strong story out first.
will we ever see anybody new? Is there any new heroes waiting in the wing that haven't appeared yet, or you just is it just Heat and Strong that's just kind of like just leading the charge as of right now?
So for well, Defense Omega is gonna. I mean, this is a little bit of a spoiler, but I want to do a Defense Omega book.
Okay,
I want to spin them out, but I can't say who's getting spun out in the book. So if you read the book, you don't know. I can't tell you who lives, who dies,
gotcha.
whatever. But I would love to do Defense Omega. But I was watching a documentary with Todd McFarlane, and
Mm,
he was talking about how he wanted to put out all these different characters, but then he sat down and was like, no, I need to make sure Spawn is absolutely as good as it can be before I start doing all these other things. And so I am like almost squarely focused on Heat and Strong, um and then I am doing the horror book, but that's going to be a little bit of a it's going to take a little bit of time, and it's kind of something I'm doing so I don't get burned out, pun intended, on Heat and Strong.
is Now, will the horror book, is it kind of like an anthology? Is it different artists? Is it just you? How is that like kind of like coming about without spoiling too much? Like how, like what's the process with that?
Actually, it's funny. All these questions I came up with the answers today. The first book is the horror book is going to be called Irreconcilable. It is about a newly divorced couple that is forced to work together to um, save the soul of their son.
Mm,
It's going to be 12 issues, and it's going to have a beginning, middle, and end. And then it'll be a nice little graphic novel by the time I'm done with it that I can just hand out. I might,
okay,
do stories within the world because there's already stories cranking out. But for the main characters, as far as I know, right now it's only 12 issues.
gotcha. I mean, that sounds dope. I can't wait for it, man. Like, I wish I can write horror. I wish I could. Like, I can't write horror to save my life.
Hey man,
Um,
just try it.
listen. I tried. Most you're gonna get is like a jump scare that you see coming because I probably drew it in the panel by accident. You know what I mean? So I I'm a better writer than I am artist of horror. Just like I'm a better drawer of action than I am a writer of action. It's weird. Like I can't write action to save my life, but I can draw action. Like I can draw it. Like I don't, if I write it down, I will never figure out how to draw it versus me actually drawing. Like, okay, they'll punch you through the window. Great, boom, boom, boom. I can do that, but like actually writing it, reading it, and doing it, that's a different ballpark. But the cut back, not to cut you off, 'cause you seem like you was telling great and telling doing a good job in my absence. We are back with the verses. You have the Hand versus the League of Shadows. Hand versus League of Shadows. So Javon Stokes, what say you? Who wins? The Hand or the League of Shadows?
I'm gonna go with the Hand.
Really?
Because they're not all their people are dead. They're undead, and they
That's
can
fair.
keep resurrecting people. So it's like they can just keep swarming bodies at you. Um,
That's
the League of Shadows is, I mean, yeah, I would go with the Hand, especially if they're like led by what's the old boy that could turn people to stone. With
oh,
I can't remember his name. Ugh,
I know exactly what you're talking about. I know exactly what you're talking about.
yeah,
It's gonna burn a hole.
yeah. I mean, the Hand is or Electra. Like if they're led by Electra, yeah, I go with the
Mm,
Hand. The
I
League of Shadows is never. They get beat way too much by like nobodies.
I say, you know what? You said that you kind of like shifted my vote a little bit because I was originally gonna say the League of Shadows, and the reason why I was gonna say that because a lot of their quote unquote best students are their toughest students. Lady Shiva,
Was Lady
that's
Shiva a student?
yeah, she was a student of the League of Shadows. So you're
I
talking about
never.
Lady Shiva,
I didn't know that.
Lady
Lady Shiva was a
Shiva,
student. Sheilas. I didn't know that.
Yeah, then you gotta talk about Lady Shiva, you gotta talk about Deathstroke, and some iterations you gotta talk about Bane. I mean, if we gonna pull a Mullins card, you're gonna have to bring up Batman at some point. Is Batman gonna fight for the League of Shadows? But the Hand and the Ultimate Dead, the vote goes to the Hand. Drop in the comments who you think will win, the Hand or the League of Shadows. Me and Javon Stokes, we're gonna come to an agreement tonight and go with the Hand. Javon, we talked. You told us about your story about Heat. You told us about Strong. You've been in the game for 15 years, but the questionnaire that I sent you, that I sent every guest, as you know, it's that time in that part of the show, asking guests who their favorite superhero is. And lo and behold, Javon Stokes, he said his favorite superhero is Captain America. Now, before we even get into the game, right? Why Captain America? Because that's two Captain America since I started the show. Yeah, your co-host of Top 5 Live, Danny J. Quick, swear his favorite character was Captain America. Clearly, he
He
didn't know
lying.
nothing.
He lying.
But so
Maybe.
why Captain America for you, Javon?
Can I? I'm gonna be honest with you. Captain
Be
America
honest.
was not my favorite character until Mark Wade and Ron Garney.
That's a good team up.
Mark
That's,
Wade and Ron Garney's run
yeah.
made me a fan of Captain America. And then they came back and I was still a fan. And then Kubert got on there. He was fantastic. Dan Jurgens got on. Yes, I skipped over Heroes Return. Or Heroes Reborn or whatever.
Yeah, it's okay.
No disrespect to Rob Liefeld. I didn't like his version. Like it was off. It was off.
It was
I don't
off.
want nobody saying I said something else. I heard what I
Okay.
said. But then they did Steve Epting and Ed Brubaker, and then they just kept knocking. Oh, I'm sorry, I skipped over Reber and John Cassidy's version. It was just like fire after fire after fire. And I'm just a big fan of Captain America because I like conceptually this idea that Captain America is not about America. It's about America what should be.
Right.
And I was a fan of the fact that his best friend was black. I always like that. But not only was his best friend black, like his best friend would be like, "Hey, Cap, that's stupid." Like he
Yeah,
would
that's kind
clown him.
of it's kind
Like,
of goofy. Yeah.
that was the most realistic thing I ever saw. I was like, yeah, he had a black friend. His black friend clowned him for being corny. But yeah, it's been and then I went back and read some of the other stuff that I missed out, like John Byrne's run. I gained a new appreciation for Mark Gruenwald's run. I loved his run. I loved all the runs on the Avengers. Yeah, I'm a big Cap fan.
Okay. I mean, we about to see.
All
We
right.
about to see because Danny J. Quick, he claimed he was a Captain America fan, and he only got two right. You know
I
what I'm
was
saying?
watching.
So,
I was watching.
so ladies and gentlemen, boys
All
and
right, here
girls,
we go.
this is he your favorite? Okay, when we come on the show, this is Chat with Chap, where we keep the comics, where we ask the guests, so-called just fans of the books that they love, is the hero they favorite. Now, I know what you're saying, Kev. I could love a character and not know every little single detail about them, and that's fair. You know what I will say to that? You're a poser. So let's get to it. Got 30 seconds on the clock.
30
This
seconds.
gonna start when I read the first question. You got 5 questions. Now, the overall record is tied altogether. It's 3. Nobody
Okay.
has gotten more than 3 right. So,
All right.
Javon Stokes,
Here we
you're
go.
on the clock. I got the timer. 30 seconds. I'm gonna start it after I read the first question. What year did Cap punch Hitler?
1941.
Correct. Captain America first team was who?
Invaders.
Wrong. Howling
No, wait,
Commandos.
wait, wait. What?
Howling Commandos.
Oh, You said team though.
Team,
That's not
that
his team though.
his team. He led the Howling Commandos on the number 3. Captain America first identity after he abandoned the Captain America moniker was what?
First,
Yes, his
Nomad.
very first one. Correct. That's 2. Who became Captain America post Steve Rogers first, Bucky or John Walker?
Oh, John Walker.
That's wrong. It's Bucky. You got one more. Let's see if you can redeem yourself. How many teams did Captain America lead, including the Avengers?
Invaders, Howling Commandos,
5 seconds.
Avengers. 6.
Wrong. 5. He led the Avengers, the Invaders, the Uncanny Avengers, the Howling Commandos, the Revengers by Thor, and the New Avengers.
I mean, you these are all like, no. You playing me. Yo,
How am I playing?
you playing
How
me.
am I playing?
Number one, that if they're all Avengers teams, there's all one.
Hey, no, man, listen. There's
And
different
you
iterations,
said his
man.
first team,
His first team
his
that he
first
led,
team, the
I looked,
Invaders.
I typed in the question myself. The first team that he
I
was
gotta let me
on.
look that up.
Look it up. They're gonna say the Howling Commandos.
Look that up.
I don't listen. I do not
But
short
you said it
my
was John. Wait. You said who was Captain America first? John Walker or Bucky?
Bucky.
How was
After he
Bucky first?
Bucky, it popped up saying that Bucky was the first Captain America before John Walker became the U.S. agent. He never took the title Captain America. Bucky did.
John Walker?
Yes, I looked it up,
John
Javon.
Walker was Captain America.
Javon, I looked it
You
up.
want me to get my book? I can get the book right now.
We don't need the book. The show's almost over. I don't need the book.
Better give me my point.
The show's almost. You know what? I'll give it to you. You got a whole book.
Bucky
It
didn't
is
wait a minute, time out. Bucky didn't become Cap until like 2000 something. John Walker became Captain America in the 80s.
correction. You are absolutely right. And when I looked it up, because I thought the same thing, so I googled it today. John Walker took on the name you. This is what they said. I'll send you the link after the show. They said John Walker became U.S. agent first before he became Captain America. That's
Actually,
literally what it said.
he was Cap first because Cap again, Cap the not the coalition. What's the name of them boys? It was
Mm,
this group that forced Captain America out, and then they
yep.
recruited John Walker. He became Captain America. Captain America was wearing the black suit, and he was running around as calling himself the Captain. And there was a whole storyline until Captain America came back, beat the piss out of John Walker, and then he took it back and became Captain America again. Then John Walker faked his death and became a U.S. agent.
Okay. You know what? Then you still at 3. You still only
I'm
got 3
still right
right.
about the invaders thing. I don't care what you say. Like I'm gonna
Nah, I
find
mean
that.
this.
I'm gonna find
Guess
that.
what? Guess what? I thought I would never say this. This is my show. You only have 3 right, so it is a 3-way tie of people who got their answers right.
Believe me,
We
man.
got we got one final question that I thought was a good one from Gerald. Would you ever introduce extraterrestrials in your stuff?
Oh, absolutely. Heat is well. So for those that don't know, um, heat is powered by an extraterrestrial power source. It's called the illumination. It is one of the 4 foundational powers in the universe. There's the illumination, which is light, the ebon, which is darkness, the essence, which is the soul, and the solid, which is all things tangible. And these 4 things are the pillars of the universe. And they created the universe. They mixed everything mixed together, their energies mixed together and made everything. And every one of the powers are now reside in a living being with throughout the universe. So,
Mm.
I have at least two storylines playing, space storylines, um planned coming soon. Once
That
we get
that's
past this.
that's dope. Like that,
Thank
when you put it in perspective like that, that's dope. But I gotta play devil's advocate just for a split second. What is your rebuttal to like explain that to like a hardcore Christian that's at your table?
I tell if I'm Christian, so I would tell
Mm.
people it's a parable. If they got a big problem with it, I'd be like, Jesus told parables all the time that weren't true. That didn't
Amen,
happen. So
man.
we telling stories.
Amen. Oh man. Javon, it was great to have you. Please tell everybody where they can find you, man.
Listen, man, you can find me and you can buy all my books, all my stuff at visuallystoke.com. You can also find me at on Facebook. You can find my name, Javon Stokes, or Visually Stoked Media. You can find me on Instagram at Visually Stoked Media, or look for my name, Javon Stokes. You can find me every Tuesday, tomorrow, uh, on Top 5 Live. We are doing, I think, top 5 underrated rappers of all time.
Okay,
And
that's
then
gonna be a good
normal
one.
on, I think, Thursday, I do have a show. This Thursday is my last show of the year. And then we're going to gear up and then for a Stoke podcast on Thursday. This is our last show of the year. And then you can find me this coming year. I am going to be everywhere. I already have dates. The first weekend in January, I'll be in New Orleans at Fan Expo New Orleans. First weekend in February, I'll be at MegaCon in Orlando. Uh, and then I'm going to be everywhere. So if you go to a big con on the East Coast, you'll probably see me.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, Javon Stokes is gonna be everywhere. If you missed it, the man had hung up a tour, like almost on superstar level tour that he just got finished doing, and
Oh,
which
we don't have
is
a name for this tour. It's coming.
okay.
It's coming.
So can't wait for that. You can find me at Afro Avenger at Instagram, Twitter /X, Afro Avenger on Facebook. My name, Kevin Chapman on Facebook. Start following my new page on Instagram, Chat with Chat, where you get all the updates and stuff like that. I'm slowly but surely trying to, be more sociable and promote and stuff like that. I think that's one of my biggest Achilles heels is just promoting and just staying on top of it and being on social media. But y'all know where to find me. If you here, you know where to find me. Mr. Chat Daddy TV on YouTube. Follow me there because we can get all the live videos every Monday. Next week, we got a special guest for the last episode of the year. Nigel Carrington will be on next week. I got the Trinidad Assassin on. That boy that's a bad man right there. One of them, my mentors. And we're definitely going to have him on next week. And like always, to top to top this show off, Alfred Page, Alfred. Yo. Welcome to the end of the show, brother. Sorry, but what's good. Thank you for joining. To end each show, to end each episode, I'm going to end it with words of wisdom. And I was listening to Javon's story earlier, and I think I got something good to say to anybody out there. Today, words of wisdom is the journey, right? The journey is never finite, man. It's never final. The path will never stay the same. The walkway will always change. It will go from concrete to mud to quicksand to steel. Your path is never finite, man. Continue. There's a lot of people, man, that get to the door and think just because they got in the club, that's it. Continue. Some people at the DJ booth, some people own the club now, some people had start their own thing. Just continue your journey, continue your path. Don't give up. Trust me. When it comes to living your dream, there is no age to that. There is no age to your dream. We all heard the story of Harrison Ford starting when he was 40 something, blah, blah, blah. We've heard that. Stan Lee, think about it. Stan Lee started Marvel, but his face really didn't start getting known until he was much, much older. This is not saying Stan Lee did not do nothing behind the scenes, but as a face of what he became, that became later on in his years. Even Image Comics, they was young kids who started off early, started off with a dream. They finally lived it, and they did it. All I'm saying is, continue your dream, continue your path. Trust me, the finish line only shows up when you put it there.
That's right. That's right. And I agree. There's no age to your dream unless you are trying to become a rapper. All right.
Yes, that's 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 for sure. We don't need no
You're trying to be
40-year-old
a rapper.
rappers who
You don't
rapping
need
country,
60-year-old rapper. We don't need that.
rapping country and western.
If
Okay,
you ain't make it by 25, call it. It's a wrap.
it's
Right.
gone.
You didn't make it. It's okay. We love you still. You can be a ghostwriter.
I'm your host, Kevin Chapman. This is my guest, the most opinionated man in comics. You know what? I usually end right here. Before I end, Javon, you see those memes on social media where they got like 100 knives to the dude's necks? You're the most opinionated man in comics. Drop an opinion right now that you feel is gonna have you like that. Right now, on the spot, let's drop an opinion that you feel is gonna have you like that right now. And I'm gonna just hit the end. As soon as you finish, and I'm gonna just hit the
Dang,
end
put me on
stream.
the spot.
Just drop an opinion right now, and I'm gonna just hit the end stream as soon as you finish it. So can't nobody blast you.
I got you. I got you. Ready? You ready
Yep,
for it?
ready,
Ready?
ready.
Batman is overrated.